point that came up yesterday with palpation when we were trying to look for pronator, supinator, and getting a little bit confused about which direction you're applying resistance to test which muscle. So for forearm pronation, supination, you are going to be starting in with neutral, in a neutral position. So neutral position, stabilization against the lateral elbow. And then again, you want to grasp the forearm with as much tissue as you can so that you're not pinching or sliding on their skin. So if we're going to be testing for strength in elbow pronation, I would instruct her to go through full active range, so we see that she has full pronation range of motion. And then I bring her back to mid-range, and I give her resistance, trying to press her into supination, right? So that would require her to use her pronator to hold that position. So hold that position, and then mid, so with these ones, you're going to notice you're not going to be able to, it's not going to be quite as forceful of pressure, because now we're getting into smaller muscle groups. And then for supination, again, instruct to go through the full active range of motion into supination, bring her back to mid-range, and then we're going to try to be turning her wrist or her forearm into pronation so that she has to supinate against me. Yeah, good. And then relax. Yeah. Okay, so that's supination, pronation. And then wrist flexion extension. So this is slightly different than your isometric test, because you are going to bring the wrist into a flex position. This would still be considered more of a mid-range test though, because I'm not combining finger flexion. So if I was combining finger flexion and wrist flexion, that would be what we would call like an inner range test, but you're gonna keep the fingers relaxed, so it still is more of a mid-range test for those wrist flexors. So yep, so you're gonna, this one I would actually have her go ahead and sit in the chair there and come around to this side so that you're supported and face the glass. So I would have her supported on the table. Come a little bit closer this way. Okay, so I'm gonna apply stability here. Have her flex her wrist. Yep, her fingers are relaxed. And then I'm going to try to bring her into wrist extension. Min, mod, max. Okay. And you can see I'm really only using my finger pads to do the resistance, because these are smaller muscle groups. So you don't want to be using a whole line of force with this. And then she's going to flip over for wrist extension, so going through that full available range. And again, you can keep the fingers relaxed here. Yep, so just wrist, good. Hold that, and then don't let me move you. Min, mod, max. Okay, all right.